Coming up next on We Are Marshall Today, rural healthcare gets a financial shot in the arm. Details on a project in Chapmanville.
Plus, the Henderson Center gets a makeover just in time for basketball season. We'll have details on this and other stories up next on We Are Marshall Today.
Hello and welcome to We Are Marshall Today. I'm Leah Clark-Payne.
And I'm Dan Hollis. Marshall University School of Medicine has long been known for its emphasis on training outstanding primary care physicians.
Dan, part of their training includes an emphasis on rural and preventative medicine. And beginning this winter, some of that clinical work will occur in a brand new facility. The Rural Health and Clinical Center at Chapmanville will provide the setting for healthcare delivery to thousands in the Coalfield region. Currently, patients are seen at a temporary location in downtown Chapmanville where family nurse practitioner Amber Kidd works.
Our community is very underserved, and with the lack of family physicians that are in this area, hopefully with our sliding scale fee, we will be able to help the underserved and provide affordable quality health care to our community that has been needed for a long time.
Ground was broken 6 months ago on the facility, which will house the Coalfield Health Center. The effort is a broad-based community endeavor, which includes support from people like high school teacher George Barker.
It's going to be good to have an access to health care. It's tied with Marshall University. That gives us some credibility. When people drive by, we're in a great location and they can get quality health care.
Several of West Virginia's political leaders say the project delivers just what the state needs in terms of quality health care in hometowns.
And Marshall University and their outreach effort here is to be highly commended. Because that's what it's going to take. Our institutions of higher learning, working at the grassroots level, reaching out with their many tentacles, if you will, into our communities in the southern part of the district, and bringing health facilities closer to the people who have a difficult time traveling to the bigger cities over our rough terrain.
What this facility will do will be to utilize the medical students, the allied health professionals and so forth, not only from Marshall University, but from Southern Community College. They have a big allied health program. They'll all be working here together, really to, as much as anything, to offer the preventative side of health care.
This is invaluable to what it does for West Virginia and Southern West Virginia to help people have adequate health care, to help them keep healthy. And with Marshall's collaboration, it's a partnership, and I've said this, it's the government, federal, state, and local, working in partnership with communities to provide people the necessity of health.
The Rural Health and Clinical Center is located just off Route 119 in Chapmanville. Marshall University officials say barring inclement weather, the facility will open in February. And we welcome to the set of We Are Marshall Today the director of the Robert C. Byrd Center for Rural Health here at Marshall, Jennifer Plymale.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about the Center for Rural Health, what you do there, and why we have it.
Well, the Center for Rural Health was actually came from funding from Senator Byrd back in the late 90s, I think it was. And so it gave us really an opportunity to collaborate and coordinate the efforts that the medical school had been doing for years since its establishment, which was in the late 70s. And of course, their focus is rural health, retention and recruitment of physicians to rural communities. So the Center for Rural Health gives us that opportunity to get under one roof and to really maximize the resources that we have to evaluate what are some of the needs in the communities in West Virginia.
So you are also an assistant dean with the medical school.
That's correct.
So you wear two hats there. How do those two positions interface?
Well, as an assistant dean, I will work on a number of committees. We're currently working on the strategic plan for the medical school. I serve on the admissions committee. So that allows me to better understand the kind of applicants that are coming into the school, and if we can recruit those bright young physicians to some of the communities that I work in, which are primarily in the southern communities, southern counties of West Virginia.
And you are very, very familiar with that. We just saw a story about the new facility in Chapmanville. Tell us a little bit about how that came about.
Well, once again, thanks to Senator Byrd, we were granted a capital project, which this is specifically just for the building. And we are building a building facility in Chapmanville, which is in Logan County. We started that about 2 years ago, and are anticipating the opening of that facility about mid-January. What's unique about that facility is it will not only be a place to receive primary care and then eventually specialty care there, but it's also going to be a teaching facility where our medical students can rotate, where our residents can see patients, so that once they are familiarized themselves with a rural community, we're hoping that that will encourage them and motivate them to stay in those kinds of communities.
How does rural health differ from health issues or health care that's delivered in more metropolitan areas?
Well, one of the things we've found most recently with the building of our facility is that we take for granted, I would think, in Cabell County having access immediately to sewer and water. And it has been a tremendous undertaking, and the event that you attended last week was the governor actually allocating funding specifically for a sewer project for that building. And without his support and the support of Senator Tomlin, the facility probably wouldn't have happened, because it has taken an enormous work to get just the infrastructure there. So therefore, the infrastructure isn't there in a lot of those communities. In addition to that, is once you get the facility built, you have people that have difficulty getting, transportation to anywhere. And the roads in, many of the southern communities are very rural. If you've ever traveled down Route 10, you'll often find mudslides. I, on a number of occasions, have gotten stuck for more than 2 hours. So if you're trying to get to or from anywhere, coming on Route 10, you're going to run into some difficult times on those roads, especially when the weather gets icy and snowy. So the rural providers in those communities also can feel isolated. So I think with Marshall putting a flag or planting a flag in this community, we can engage those providers, provide them opportunities with continuing medical education. We will be directly linked to the medical school with infrastructure in place that we could do some telemedicine. We could host seminars, and those will go directly to that building. So we could get a room full of providers, nurse practitioners, or just other community leaders in that room, and help them better understand what we can do to be of help to their community.
So as far as rural medicine goes, I think there's, when I was speaking with one of the folks down there, there's just nothing like having a healthcare facility in your own backyard. There are the trust issues and all kinds of other factors that enter into people seeking health care.
Absolutely. And when we found out that we had received the money for the funding, we were just so thankful, because it puts us right in the heart of it's a medically underserved area. We actually gathered together community leaders and said to them, what does your community need? How can we be helpful to you? And that's when a community board was developed, and we have about 11 members that represent the people that we serve. We have a student, we have an older woman, we have people that work at a bank, we have a principal, we have a school teacher, real estate agents, and they all come together for board meetings, so that we have created a separate organization that this clinic down there will be community run. And they named it themselves Coalfield Health Center. As you know, we're right in the heart of coalfield country.
So it's a great collaborative effort between community and an academic institution, and of course the state and local government.
Absolutely. We also are partnering with Southern Community and Technical College, so that some of their nursing students and dental hygienist students can come over and rotate. Most of the time, if your tooth isn't hurting, or if there isn't something painful, you don't go to the dentist a lot. So those dental hygienists will be able to shadow a physician and take an opportunity to maybe look in a baby's mouth or a young person's mouth and say, by the way, when was the last time you went to the dentist? Mm-hmm. And so we were also making arrangements to identify places where they can receive dental care at either a sliding scale fee, which is affordable to them, or maybe even care that they won't have to pay for.
And before we let you go today, of course you had this project that's just about completed. Anything else on the horizon for the Robert C. Byrd Center for Rural Health?
Well, this facility will be the home of our mobile medical unit, which we are very proud of. Once again, funding from Senator Byrd. But in addition to that, we are placing digital retinopathy cameras in some very isolated places where we are going to be screening those individuals that either have diabetes or at risk of diabetes. And we're going to be sending those images electronically back here. An ophthalmologist will read them and then send the results back. So these are communities that do not have those kinds of services in those communities. So we are actually providing what we consider is a real service to those communities, and they're very rural. Our first camera is actually going to Pendleton County. So.
That's fantastic. You guys do a great job at the Center for Rural Health. And
thank you.
Congratulations on the new facility.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for being here today.
It's a privilege. Thank you.
And before we go to the break, let's catch up with some sporting news with Sports Information Director Randy Burnside.
College basketball season is here, and Thundering Herd fans are ready to welcome new head coach Tom Herrion's Thundering Herd onto the court. The Marshall basketball team will have 18 home contests this season, and fans are sure to enjoy the new game day atmosphere inside the confines of the Henderson Center. On the women's side, head coach Royce Chadwick welcomes back all-conference performer Tynikki Crook. Look for an exciting season inside the Henderson Center, and make sure you get your tickets by going online to herdzone.com or by calling 1-800-THE-HERD. Also coming up in the Herd Sports universe, the Student Athlete Advisory Council is conducting a food drive to benefit the Huntington Food Bank. This is part of Conference USA's annual initiative to give back to the Conference USA communities. So at ball games leading up through this period, Marshall student athletes will be collecting canned food for the Huntington Area Food Bank. For your Marshall Sports Minute, this is Randy Burnside.
As you think about your future, who's your competition? Who are your chief competitors? I notice some of you looking to your right and left at your neighbors. You need to think bigger, much bigger. Choose Marshall University. Big enough to matter, small enough to care. Immerse yourself in your learning. Connect with your professors and have fun learning. That's important too. Find your passion, pursue your dreams. Marshall University.
A Marshall University graduate says collaboration between universities and companies will help jumpstart a much-needed pharmaceutical research. Business advisor Blair Gibson says there is an innovation gap in the pharma industry, a gap which he contends could be filled by academia.
There's been a collaboration between academia and the pharma industry ever since the pharma industry has been around, because some of the best discovery labs, I think, are in academic institutions. What I think pharma needs to understand, however, is that there's a significant innovation gap right now going on. And I think they need to look toward academic institutions like Marshall University.
Gibson visited Marshall University as part of a symposium for Marshall's Institute for Interdisciplinary Research. He says Marshall is poised for significant advancement through research and development. Graduating seniors have dozens of tasks to complete before commencement. Many of those can be handled through the university's Countdown to Commencement. Organizers say the event serves as a one-stop shop for seniors who find themselves overwhelmed this time of year. Marshall's winter commencement is scheduled for 2 p.m. Sunday, December 5th.
50 years from now, those college graduates may return to Marshall to revisit their past. And what they might see is the opening of this time capsule, which was sealed last month after a homecoming ceremony. The capsule contains letters from current university officials, memorabilia from the We Are Marshall movie, and current-day cell phone technology. The capsule is being sealed in an exterior wall of the Foundation Hall building and will be opened in 2060. Members of Marshall University's football team are often an intimidating sight on the gridiron, but at a children's hospital, they are a welcome sight. Several Thundering Herd football players made their annual Halloween trek to Cabell Huntington Hospital recently to deliver candy to hospitalized kids. Senior Chad Schofield says the visit means as much to him as it does to the patients.
We're just coming out, passing the treats around to the kids for Halloween. It's we just like ever helping out the community. You know, just seeing the kids' reactions. I mean, they're a little shy at first, but once they open up, I mean, it's pretty fun to interact with them.
Each year, Marshall football players visit Cabell Huntington around the Halloween, Easter, and Christmas holidays to lift the spirits of children who are hospitalized during that time.
Marshall University's indoor arena, the Henderson Center, has undergone some upgrades during the past few months.
Officials say some of those changes are expected to enhance the game experience for fans.
We do this, number one, try to help enhance the overall atmosphere for our fans. You know, we did the electronics, and we also done some graphics here with retired jerseys and whatnot on the wall above us. But also from the recruiting aspect. You know, you're always trying to compete with other institutions, and anytime you can upgrade your facilities to make it better, it's obviously a recruiting advantage for us. Upgrades in the arena will be consisting of the new lighting system in there, which we have the now our lighting levels are at NCAA championship game quality levels, and we have the shutter systems on there. So now the arena can go black for pregame intros, special events, that sort of thing. We'll close the shutters on there, and the arena will go black, and we have spotlights in the arena now, so we can do special introductions and those sort of things. Also, we've incorporated from Daktronics the new ribbon board that's up on the wall where the club seats are, and also the courtside LED tables in here. Last year we did the basketball renovations, you know, brand new locker rooms for men's and women's basketball programs. I think, you know, if you look at our arena and you look around the league, obviously I think we're right there with everyone else. Memphis sort of doesn't count. They're at FedEx Forum. That's a pro arena that they go utilize. But if you look at all the other institutions who have their arena on their campus, we're right there with them.
And joining us now is one of the chief residents of the newly renovated Henderson Center, and also one of its newest. We welcome Thundering Herd basketball coach Tom Herrion. Tom, thanks for being here.
Dan, pleasure to be with you today.
Let's start with a little bit of a history lesson of your life. Tell us about where you are and where you came from.
Well, my roots are up in the Northeast. My family's from the New York City area. I grew up in New England, in Massachusetts. My dad was a high school and college basketball coach. My older brother Bill is the head coach at University of New Hampshire now, presently, and so I come from a basketball family, and most of my family still lives up in the Northeast. So those are my roots, and through 20 plus years of coaching as a head coach or an assistant, it's taken me a lot of different places, and I've been fortunate to work at some wonderful places, and thrilled to be here at Marshall now in this new journey and wonderful opportunity.
Is there a Coach Herrion style? What can fans expect?
I think I've made no secrets about the fact that I want my team to be a tough team, and a team that's disciplined, that plays with passion, plays with energy. Our foundation and our DNA will be on the defensive end of the floor, and but that's going to be a process. It's going to be something that we've got to continue to build, and it's not going to happen overnight. But I really believe that the reflection of this team, or the identity of this team, can also be representative of our school and our community. It's a hard-working, blue-collar town, and with wonderful people that have passion and care a lot. I want our players to play similarly.
Coach Herrion on the bench is what can fans expect? Animated?
In some regards, yes. Passionate, very. But I want my team to play with passion and energy and effort, and I think you'll see some of those reflective in my demeanor and my personality. And but I think also that I want the fans are coming to watch our players perform and play, and they're coming to watch a Tom Herrion or a coach on the sideline. So I'm not a big part of the show. I want our players' performance to be the exhibit that they come to watch.
Well, let's talk about your team. Some returning players, some new faces. What can fans expect?
Well, a whole lot of new. Obviously we have 8 players that are returning that were in the program last year with Coach Jones, and a couple of them weren't able to play. Eladio Espinosa sat out as a transfer. DeAndre Keynes sat out as an academic partial qualifier. So we've got a good core of guys coming back. We added 5 guys in the spring and summer, but everything's new to every guy, and sometimes I have to kind of catch myself and remind myself that the system is new, the terminology is new. But I've been pleased with their coachability to this point. They've been very receptive to gaining an understanding of my personality, my expectations day in and day out, and for the most part they've embraced that, and I think we've begun to create a foundation that we can build upon.
Well, let's talk about some of your expectations. It's a tough schedule with WVU, Louisville, Memphis. How difficult do you think it'll be?
Well, it's obviously every year creates its own challenges, and we'll have those this year. We're going to have to. This team will take a little bit longer probably to unfold and evolve roles and rotations. Probably a little bit longer than most. Again, because of the newness and the unknown for us as a staff and our players. But our schedule is going to challenge us, as you mentioned. You mentioned playing 2 of the perennial top teams in the Big East, which is arguably the best conference in America, in Louisville and West Virginia. Obviously, we'll play a tremendous slate in Conference USA, but Ohio University went to the second round of the tournament. Jackson State won their conference last year. So we've got quality opponents that are going to test us and prepare us for Conference USA play.
This is your first year, obviously, but you have to have some long-term goals for the program. What might they be?
Well, again, it's something that I made clear from the beginning is I came here to help restore the program. We've got a great, rich, and deep tradition in basketball. It just hasn't been in the modern era. I think we woke it up a little bit last year. Donnie Jones and his staff did a great job, and I think we saw that with some of the fans coming back out to see us play rather than maybe coming to see who was on our schedule or an opponent that we had. But if I'm here, I told Dr. Kopp and Mike Hamrick, my 2 immediate bosses, that I came to build a program. Didn't come and have 1 good year or 2 good teams. We want to build, and a program is able to sustain success over time. And so that means encompassing a lot of things, but it's day in and day out, on and off the floor, academically, socially, and obviously basketball-wise.
Part of that has to be facilities. And we just saw a story about the newly renovated Henderson Center. Talk a little bit how that helps.
Well, I mean, you have to have great facilities and resources. It's part of recruiting and attracting quality players, quality student athletes. And I really like the Henderson Center. It's a great home court. And as you mentioned, they've continued to make renovations or upgrades. The locker room a couple of years ago, our locker room is as nice a facility as there is in the country at any level. And this past summer, we were able to refurbish an all new lighting system, which has been a great adjustment in the arena. The lighting's better, the sound is better. There's a new facade, some new ribbon boards, digital boards, and we'll add a much-needed new sound system. Unfortunately, probably won't be this season. It'll be in the spring or summer for next year. But those are great upgrades. And I think, again, it shows the commitment by our school and our administration to the basketball program and wanting to have a first-class facility for our players and for our fans.
I wonder if you could talk just a few minutes about the role of a basketball team on campus. What's the proper role?
Well, first and foremost, they're students. We talk about the student athlete, and I think sometimes because our players get so much more publicity, notoriety, recognition via media circuits, that they're kind of they're raised above the common student. But we talk to them about their responsibilities as students, and that's the first priority. And we expect a lot from them as players, but we demand a lot from them as students. Being able to make their progress towards degree. That's an important component, and that's something that we're committed to as a staff. And I've been committed everywhere I've been as an assistant or head coach and helping young men receive their degrees. Obviously a lot of them think they're going to play a long time after college, but the reality is they aren't. And obviously we want to prepare them for something to fall back on once basketball ends.
And the fans and supporters have an important role to play with the team, don't they?
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, one of the things that was attractive, in my opinion, about this job was the fact that, like I said earlier, we have a tradition of success. A lot of it in the 60s and 70s, and again, now we're trying to restore it in the modern era. But we have a great fan base and a passionate one. Now, they're not unlike a lot of places. It's like, if you win, they will come. So we have to do our part. But our fans, and especially, we've got a great fan support, but I also want to make sure that we really attack and attract our student body. Our student body's got to become even more involved in our home games and become a factor in our games. And we need our fans to help our players play well, rather than our players to have to play well to raise our fans' expectations.
Coach, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you talking with us.
Thanks, Dan. Have a great day.
And before we go to break today, let's meet another member of the Marshall University alumni family. Phil Ratliff is a 1994 graduate of Marshall University. The Louisa, Kentucky native has coached high school and college football and currently serves as coach of the Thundering Herd's tight ends. He and his wife Jenny have 2 children. Phil Ratliff, another member of the Marshall University alumni family, spreading the word about the Herd.
From the classroom straight to your computer.
I teach international marketing online 100%. I conduct this class from my office, from my home, and it is 24/7 available to students across the country. I would say this has been one of the most challenging and rewarding experiences, not only for me, for my students as well.
Nationally accredited, affordable, convenient. MU Online.
Marshall University celebrated homecoming the last weekend in October, complete with a parade and, of course, a win on the gridiron.
Let's take a look at some of the festivities.
Homecoming is especially important because we want to try and have the alumni to come back and have the whole campus involved in something fun that's going to go on campus.
It's a great atmosphere, man. It's always a good atmosphere to come back to. I'm glad to come back and see the fans and see that Marshall still has a pride.
This is truly one of the biggest honors of my life. I really feel humbled to be able to have this experience. It's just great to feel all the support from the Marshall community.
Overwhelmed. I'm so honored to be Miss Marshall this year, and it's just an overwhelming feeling to have so much support here at Marshall. Friends, family, supporting sisters. It's just overwhelming.
That's it for We Are Marshall today. Thanks for watching. I'm Dan Hollis.
And I'm Leah Clark Payne. Be sure and join us next time for a story on the 40th anniversary ceremony in memory of the Marshall plane crash. Thanks for watching.
See you.
At Marshall University, you can get all the information and resources you need right at your fingertips, from schedules to flexible courses to friendly student resources. From the MyMU portal, you can search for classes to fit your needs, register, and even pay tuition, all with the click of a button. But that's not all you can do within MyMU. MyMU also provides a list of key resources for students. Convenient and affordable, MU Online offers a variety of class choices to fit your needs. Access e-courses or supplemental materials from MU Online. MU Online also offers virtual classrooms where you can participate in class from any location with an internet connection. At Marshall University, we make information, resources, and service a priority. Through MyMU and MU Online, you have all the resources you need right at your fingertips.